Hi, sixth grade drummers. It's Mr. Y, obviously. I want to walk you through your finals for the end of the year. Remember, we have number 55, number 67, number 74, and then the chromatic scale on the mallet instruments. I'll be doing that one on a separate video just because I'm not set up here for mallets. I'll do that one separately. But I wanted to walk you through the other three anyway, show you some sticking tricks and some techniques you might want to use. We're going to start with 67. That's not the first one I know, but I think it is the easiest one. So we're going to start there. Before you do all these, you may want to do a little bit review on a couple of basic techniques before you start all these things. You're going to want to really know about flams, of course. Flams, remember, one stick is low, one stick is high. The low stick hits first, and then the high stick hits second. Also, when you've done that flam, you freeze your sticks so that the next time you're going to play the flam, your sticks are in a reverse position. So if you're hitting first with your left hand first, next you're hitting first with your right hand. Okay, so right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, or something like that. When you get to a flam tap later on, that's where you do a flam and then you hit with the same stick again. So in other words, left, right, right, or right, left, left. And there are some of those in the scale study that we're going to talk about in a minute. Right at the beginning of it, in fact, number 67. Other things you want to do, though, you want to be able to do a flam paradiddle. Remember, either left, right, right, or right, left, left, that basic flam paradiddle. And you're going to want to be really comfortable with all these so you can play a whole bunch in a row with alternating hands. Whether it be flams, or flam taps, or flam paradiddles, or whatever. There are a couple of 9-stroke rolls here. Remember, that's where you have a buzz, 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 and a tap, or a double, 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 double tap. So you're going to want to get really good at these. Again, you want to be able to use both hands, so right or left. Only when you get to those where you can play them equally well are you going to be a really accomplished drummer. Let's see. Also, the other thing you're going to need to be able to do is a drag. Now, a drag, remember, involves a double stroke. So when you have a double stroke, instead of letting the stick stay on the pad for a buzz stroke, 4 or 5 times like it does with a buzz stroke, you're going to want to hit it once and then let it bounce only once, okay? And again, you want to be able to do it with both hands to be able to get it really good. Again, you don't want to buzz. That's a different thing, okay? And you don't want to do 2 single strokes. That's a different thing too. That's not a double stroke. Okay, a double stroke is where you hit it once and let it bounce once. There's a difference between that and hitting the drum twice. Okay, and then when you get into a drag, of course, it's a double stroke followed by a single tap. So either a left hand double stroke and then a right hand tap, or vice versa, a right hand double stroke and then a left hand tap. And again, you want to be able to do them both ways. That's the way drummers work. Drummers have to be ambidextrous. And if you're not, honestly, ambidextrous, and most of us aren't, you're going to have to practice more with one hand. I have to practice more with my left hand than my right hand because I'm right-handed. It's just the way it works. Okay, so getting back to the scale study number 67. Starts out with a whole bunch of flam taps in the beginning for the first 2 measures, it looks like. Third measure, we go to flam paradiddles, and then some just regular straight flams at the end. We get some different rhythms on the second line. Whole bunch of flams in a row in measure number 7, and then with alternating hands, of course. And then in the last measure, that rhythm, 1 flam and a 2 and buzz, 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 tap, the 9-stroke roll right there at the end. It does have to be a 9-stroke roll, please. And you do have to follow the sticking on this one too. That is important since it has 67 sticking. One of the things that bugs me about the EE book is they don't put a sticking indication for the little note in the flam. They just put, for instance, on the very beginning of 67, you have the right for the 2/8 notes, but not the little 16th note flam right before that. That should be, of course, a left. Remember, when you're doing a flam, whatever kind of flam you're doing, you're going to freeze with your sticks in that position after you hit. So if it's going to be left-right, then your right hand is going to stay down, and then do the next thing, whatever it is. If you want to, you can go through and write in the sticking for those little flams. Whenever I do an exercise, I always write them in there. I think it's more, I think it's easier to figure out. Okay, if you want to write them in, go ahead. The EE book didn't do it for us. That's okay. Okay, so 67. Here we go. 2, 3, and flam, tap, 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 flam, diddle, flam, diddle, flam, diddle, flam, flam, flam. Second line, flam and 2 and flam and a 4, flam and 2 and flam and a 4, flam, 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 and a 2 and 9-stroke roll. Remember that 9-stroke roll can be either buzz strokes or double strokes. Okay. This one's pretty straightforward. Remember, on all these, you can go as fast or slow as you want to, as long as it's steady. So you don't have to go that speed. You could go slower or faster, I suppose. Just about made that through. It was about a 19, I'd say. But you could play them faster if you wanted to, of course. Slower is fine as well. Okay, moving on to 74, please. 74, the Essential Elements Quiz. The good thing about this one is there's no sticking involved, so you can do it however sticking you want to. You can do your own sticking and make up your own way to do it, whichever fits your own hands easier. Okay, the slightly bad news, I guess, is there's a lot more drags in this one. So again, make sure you're really good on drags. And you're going to have to do it with both hands. So make sure you're really good at those. Double stroke followed by a tap. This one has a DC al fine, so when you get to the end of the second line, remember you're going to go back and play the first line again. And at the end of the first line, that's where fine is. Okay, so be careful. Here we go. 2, right? 1 and flam, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and a 3 and drag, flam and drag, 3 and flam, flam and 2 and a 3, flam, 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 flammy and 3. Let me do the counting again. Flam, flam, flammy and 3 and drag, flam, flam, rest and a drag and 4 and flam, flam, rest and a drag and drag, drag. Ah. Sorry about that. I guess I'm allergic to saying the wrong notes. Let me try the second line again. Starting on the second line, we have flam, flam, flammy and 4, flam, flam, flammy and 3 and drag, flam, flam, rest and a drag and 4 and flam, flam, rest and a 3 and drag, drag, 2 and a 3 and flam, and then you go back to the beginning, of course. 1 and flam. Okay, there is a dynamic change there that I didn't do as well. It's forte on the first line, then the second line goes to mezzo piano, and crescendos back up at the end of that line. So let me do one more performance of this. I'm not going to say the sticking this time, just because I don't want to have another coughing fit in the middle of it. Here we go. 2, 3, 10. Nope, start again. That's not a drag, it's a flam. What am I doing? There we go. So that one's a little harder than it looks. But I think, in my opinion, the hardest one is 55. On 55, again, we have sticking written in, which is, I think, the tricky part. You do have lots of flams, lots of flam paradiddles. You only have one flam tap, as far as I can see. That's in measure 4. When, first of all, we have a flam paradiddle and then a flam tap. So right, right, flam, left. You've got the 2 lefts in a row there in the middle. That's the only flam tap, as far as I can see. There is only one drag as well in the very last measure. And the rhythm is fairly straightforward. It's really getting the sticking down that's tricky here. And again, the e-book has not put in the flam sticking there. So if you want to go through and write that in, just remember it's the opposite of the big note right next to it. So that shouldn't be a problem. If it would help you to write it in, feel free to go ahead and do it. Here we go. 2, ready, and flam and flam a diddle flam and flam, flam and 2 and flam a diddle flam and flam, flam and flam a diddle flam, flam a diddle flam tap flam flam flam, rest, flam, flam a diddle flam, rest, flam, flam a diddle flam and flam a diddle flam and sorry, one drag and flamma diddle flam. That last measure, one drag and flamma diddle flam. Gotta do the sticking right. One drag and flamma diddle flam. Okay, so be careful about the sticking on that one. Otherwise, it shouldn't be too hard. This is kind of the way I would do in order, guys. Like I said, again, do the fundamental stuff, the flams, the flam taps, the paradiddles. Get all that stuff really down first. The drags, double strokes. Then, I think 67 is probably the easiest one to do, and then 74, and then 55. That's just the way I approached it, and I think it's probably best for you too. I will do another slightly different video on the 16th note, the chromatic scale, which is number 107. That's the one you do on mallets. So stay tuned for that one soon. Thanks. Bye.